Hey guys, La Bomba Grande here, bringing you a Dragon tutorial video that's going to complement the Dragon tutorial written guide that we have on our Facebook page. So if you want to pause the video and pull up the written guide, you'll be able to walk step by step through how to do a dragon attack in war. First thing to understand about dragons is they're very powerful units. They do a lot of damage. They actually do splash damage, so they can kill multiple CC troops at once. And they also have a lot of hit points. So great damage per second and a lot of hit points. Kind of the go-to all-around perfect troop if you're not trying to do anything too crazy in an attack. As you get to Town Hall 9 and Town Hall 10 and beyond, you're going to be doing a lot more advanced attacks that are going to use your weaker but high-powered troops, the troops that can do a lot of damage per second but don't have a lot of hit points. You're going to be covering with tanking troops and that sort of thing. But we don't have to worry about that with dragons. They are just good overall. They have a lot of hit points, so they'll last a while, and they do a lot of damage at the same time. So fill up your camps with as many dragons as you can hold. If you have extra space in your camps because you're upgrading some but haven't finished upgrading all of them, feel free to take some balloons and they'll be used to hopefully get to the ADs also. Biggest threats to dragons are obviously the air defenses. They will quickly shoot down your dragons, so it's important that we plan the attack to take out the air defenses as quickly as possible. The air sweepers are also a fairly big deal because if we attack from the wrong side and are fighting an air sweeper the whole time, it allows the air defenses and archer towers, wizard towers, hidden Teslas, those sorts of things to do more damage to our dragons than otherwise we'd have to deal with if we actually attacked from the correct side. Not such a big deal anymore since we have this new update that gives us 30 more seconds to attack, but corner buildings used to be a big deal because if you forgot to attack them at the beginning, you could actually run out of time at the end of your attack with your dragons just slowly moving from corner building to corner building. So pay attention to see if there are any buildings in the corner, and if there are, be sure to at least attack 2 of them from the get-go. And those 2 dragons we'll talk about later, they can probably use the dragons they can be the dragons that cut the edges to start your attacks, and we can talk about that a little bit later. And then the last thing to be concerned about are the CC troops. Remember, your dragons do splash damage, so even if it's full of wizards or witches, well, witches don't do a lot of damage, but wizards anyway, your 1 dragon breath can pretty much kill a whole group of wizards if they're close enough together. So we don't worry too much about the CC troops. The bigger concern is actually the CC building itself because it's a high hit point building. We'll get to that more later. When you choose a base to attack, obviously if you're first starting out with dragon attacks, choose an easy base like a Town Hall 7, maybe where the ADs are close to the outside edges where you can get to them pretty easily. As you get more and more advanced, you'll be able to take out bases that have the ADs further inside and are well protected behind the town hall or the clan castle or any of the storages. All those buildings have very high hit points, and those are the things that slow your dragons down. The main strategy that we're going to be talking about is using your spells to destroy 1 AD and then coming in from a side that gets you to the remaining 2 ADs as quickly as possible. So let's just start looking at this base that I've got pulled up on the screen. And you can see we have 3 ADs. 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. Remember, these are your biggest threats to your dragon attacks. The second biggest threat is probably the air sweeper. So if I click on the air sweeper, you can see he's going to be blowing air out this direction. Like that. And then the other big threats that you have are the clan castle troops. They're right in here. And then your high hit point buildings like storages and the actual town hall itself. Most people who aren't as familiar with the game will actually protect their Town Hall, even at Town Hall 8, to try to get people only get 1 star. Our clan is a bit smarter than that, and we're willing to sacrifice our Town Hall to prevent people from getting 3 stars. So you'll see a lot of our bases actually have the Town Hall off-center, and what we're doing is we're using the high hit points that you can see. We have 3,900 hit points on this building that we can use to slow down attacking troops. So he's protecting his Town Hall, which is what most people do. You're going to see that's the most common. But realize it is 3,900 hit points that you need to destroy if you're going to try to get to an AD that has the Town Hall in front of it. Clan Castle, if you look at that, it has 2,600 hit points. And then your storages, they have 2,100 hit points. So we have to be wary of where the storages are and where the clan castle is and where the town hall is. All of these things are going to be slowing your dragons down considerably. Let's see if I can just draw circles around him. So when I look at a base to dragon, essentially what I'm looking at are these things I've highlighted here. Where are the ADs? That's the first thing to look for. Where is the air sweeper? And where are the high hit point buildings? And I should do the town hall too. So as you can see, he's got them pretty much spread out all over the place. You can see which direction you don't want to attack from, because if you were to attack from this side, you're going to be slowed down by the air sweeper, and you're also going to be fighting some high hit point buildings. You've got the gold mine, the gold storage, the elixir storage, and the DE storage, all slowing you down, trying to get to, well, these two ADs anyway. So let me clear the screen, and we'll talk about how to attack this base, knowing now where the ADs are and where the things are that are going to be slowing us down. So we have the 3 ADs. Obviously the air sweeper is protecting these 2 ADs. So right away we should have a little bell going off in our brain saying, okay, I don't want to fight the air sweeper, so I probably should destroy one of these 2 ADs in order to not have to fight it as much. So which one would you destroy? Well, if you destroy this one with your lightning, let's knock it out, you're going to have 2 ADs that are far apart from each other that you're going to have to get to. Now, the objective of our attack is to get to the remaining 2 ADs as quickly as possible in an attack from one line. What I mean by one line is just a line of dragons on one side, all coming inwards. Now, if we put the line of dragons here, yes, we can get to this AD quickly, but we can't get to this AD quickly. If we were to come in from the other side, it's going to be the opposite problem, plus we're also going to have to deal with the air sweeper. So if we come in from here, yes, we can get in to this AD quickly, but we have to go through the town hall, we have to go through another storage, and the clan castle, and fight the air sweeper to get to this AD. Again, that's not going to work very well. So just think through the AD positioning with the air sweeper, where some of the storages are, and it becomes very clear that there's really only one good way to attack this base with dragons, and that is to attack, to zap this AD so that you can get to the remaining 2 ADs, this one and this one, in one line from over here as quickly as possible. And you can see all we have to deal with getting to these 2 ADs are 3 storages. We're not dealing with the clan castle being in the way, we're not dealing with the town hall being in the way, and a lot of the other storages are completely not even an issue. So we can look at a base pretty quickly, and just by looking at the ADs, where they are, where the air sweeper is and which way it's pointed, and each of the storages, and know exactly which direction we should attack from almost instantaneously, especially as you gain more and more experience. Let's keep going through the tutorial and talk about how to kill the AD with your spells. The written tutorial talks about which spells to bring. You obviously want an Earthquake and 2 Lightning if you are a Town Hall 8 that will destroy the AD. And that would leave you with a heal spell that you can take and a poison spell. The poison spell you can use on whatever is in the CC as it comes out to slow it down its attack and also do some damage. If it's a dragon, it'll damage it somewhat. Obviously, the stronger the poison spell you have, the better you'll be. So to kill an AD, drop your Earthquake on it. You don't need to center the Earthquake spell on the AD. If we did that, it would look something like this, and you would only do damage to the AD, you'd do some damage to the mortar, and probably some damage to the wizard tower, but that's about it. So choose where you drop it to do the most damage to the most buildings that can be damaged. And what I mean by that is actually if you dropped an Earthquake or even lightning on a storage, you don't do damage to storages anymore with lightnings or earthquakes. So there's no point in trying to reduce the hit points in those buildings. So choose other things that you can damage, and preferably things that are going to be hurting your dragon. So you can see we have a archer tower here, and we have a wizard tower here, and we have our AD here. So we can hurt these 3 critical buildings all with 1 earthquake spell if we center our earthquake spell right about here. And it's also obviously going to do some damage to our mortar. So earthquake spells do the same amount of damage as long as it's touching one of the buildings. Lightning, on the other hand, it does more damage in the center of the spell than on the outside edges. So we zoom in to kill our AD, and we drop our earthquake spell right about there, and that does damage to everything. And then we select our lightning, and we do 2 lightning drops right dead center on the AD, and that's going to completely destroy the air defense. There's a chart online that says what level lightning you need along with what level earthquake to be able to take out a certain level AD. So if you're not very familiar with what you need, consult that chart and it will tell you exactly what levels that it will tell you the levels that you have and what AD you'll be able to destroy using what you have. So that's how to destroy it. Make sure you zoom in before you drop the lightning, because if you don't, you can actually misplace the lightning by trying to zoom and having it selected. So be careful with that. Let's see. In order to get our dragons to get to the remaining 2 ADs without flying all around the edges, we have to do what we call cutting the edges. Now that simply means preventing the dragons from going where we don't want them to go so that they can get to the ADs as quickly as possible. So if you think about this, let's say we just started our attack and we didn't really have a plan, we just started laying down dragons. We had somewhat of a plan. We know we're going to have a line of dragons here and they're all going to be moving in. And so what we do is we just drop a dragon, 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 dragon. And what ends up happening is these edge dragons will go to this building, and because these dragons here have already destroyed these buildings, these 2 go to the next closest one, which is probably going to be this camp, and then from there they might go here, or they might go here, or they might go here, but the point is they're not going towards the AD after a while. All they do is they start going around the edges, and look at all these buildings that they're killing. They're killing a spell factory, they're killing a dark elixir drill, they're killing an elixir pump, some barracks. All these buildings here are not critical to kill when there's ADs and archer towers and those sorts of things around. We want our dragons killing the things that are killing them, not buildings that'll be destroyed at the end of the battle anyway when nothing's attacking your dragons. Same thing over here. These two dragons are probably going to end up going around this way. So in order to prevent the dragons from going around the outside edges of the map, we strategically place the dragons where they will destroy several buildings and then move towards the inside of our line. So we know we're going to be attacking from over here. Our line of dragons is going to be this way. The question is, where can we place these outer dragons that we're going to put here and here so that they will go destroy a few buildings, and then instead of going this way and this way, they actually start going inwards and join up with the rest of the line of dragons that's moving closer and closer and closer to these ADs. So if you think about it, it's simply a matter of dragon placement. There's a couple places I see you could easily put a dragon that would prevent it from going around the edges. You could put one right here, and it would destroy this building, and from there it would destroy this building, and then from there it would go here, and then you're golden because it's going to be working its way around here, and eventually when it meets up with the dragons that have already destroyed these buildings, it's going to go in towards the AD. Same thing over here. You can put a dragon right here. It'll go to the camp, and then it will go to the lab, and then from there it would probably go to the archer tower, and then you're golden because it's going to be going towards the ADs. Notice, however, if you put a dragon right here, it's going to go to the camp, and then it's going to go to the next closest building, which is over here. So it's extremely critical that you're very specific where you place the dragons. Don't place them here, place them here. Another place we could put them that would probably get the dragons inbound would be right here, attacking this building first, and then they're going to go towards the builder's hut, and then towards here, and then they'll go inwards or this way, depending on what these other dragons are doing. Same thing here. You could drop a dragon here. It would go towards the builder's hut and then down. Notice, however, if you drop it here, it's going to go to the builder's hut, and then it's going to go towards the gold mine and then start circling around. So again, very little difference in where you place it, but totally different result. So place the dragon so that they destroy a building, and then they move in the direction of where your other dragons are, so that they become a very powerful, pretty tight-knit line that's going to get to these ADs as quickly as possible. Another thing you can do is use your Barb King to cut one of the edges, and that will save a dragon that will be able to go towards the ADs. It's not quite as critical where you place him, because he's obviously not going to make it to the center to be able to take out some of the critical buildings. So use him on one side or the other if you want to. Another good thing you can do with the Barb King is, as your dragons are getting towards the last few archer towers or wizard towers or hidden Teslas near the end of the attack, you can place your Barb King near those defenses right before your dragons get in range of them, and those defenses will start hitting your Barb King instead of attacking the dragons that may be pretty weakened at that point and could use that extra time to get towards those defenses to take them out. The last two things I want to talk about are the remaining spells you have. You should have a heal spell if you're a Town Hall 8, and a poison spell if you're Town Hall 8, and just a poison spell if you're a Town Hall 7. So be ready for the Clan Castle troops to come out. They're going to come out as soon as you get in range of the trigger zone. So our dragons that are placed out here are going to be moving inwards, and as soon as they get inside this zone here, and I have no idea why my pen changed sizes, as soon as they get inside of this ring, they're going to be triggering the CC, and as you get more and more comfortable with dragon attacks, you're actually going to use how the CC gets triggered to draw your dragons towards those troops and towards the AD. So that's something you'll want to consider once you get pretty comfortable with dragon attacks, is triggering the CC from just the right spot that gets the dragon to come. Like in this case, we'd want whatever's in the CC, I think it's a dragon and maybe a loon or something, to kind of come out this direction so that it draws in all of your dragons towards it, and then they're nearby the ADs to be able to take them out as soon as they're done killing the dragon. So be ready with your poison spell and just drop it on whatever comes out when it comes out. If you drop it too early, you end up with your poison here, and you end up with all the CC troops out here fighting your dragons, which might still be out here. So give it a second or two to make sure that they're not going to keep coming out too far. Let them actually get to a dragon, and then go ahead and drop them on there. And the cool thing about poison is it slows down their attack speed, so they're not doing nearly as much damage per second against your troops. So not only is it hurting their health, it's also slowing down their ability to hurt you. And then the last spell, your heal spell, if you're a Town Hall 8, it needs to be placed pretty early. You want to put it on the biggest group of dragons that you have, and do it early so that their spell can help as many dragons as possible. If you wait towards until they're actually over the ADs, fighting the ADs, by that time you've often lost 3 or 4 dragons, and you could have placed it much earlier, say like out here, and gotten a whole big group of dragons before they died. So don't feel like you need to wait until they're actually fighting the AD. They could be fighting the storage and being hit by the AD, or the Archer Tower, or even the CC troops. If you get them all to cluster to kill the CC troops, then go ahead and place the spell here. That's kind of something that needs to be decided on the spot. You can do the best planning in the world, but as far as where you go with heal spell, it really just depends on how the dragons are moving inwards and how you can get the most dragons in the spell as possible. Obviously, a heal spell on 1 dragon is only worth a quarter of what that same heal spell could have been on, would have been worth if it was on like 4 dragons. So the more dragons you get it on, the more valuable it becomes. So go ahead and use that pretty early. Let's go ahead and pretend for a moment that there actually were corner buildings. A lot of people like to put builders' huts in the corner. So let's say there's a builder hut here, a builder hut here, a builder hut here, and the final one down in this corner. To do an attack with a builder's hut, we need to at least take out 2 of them from the start. We know we're going to be attacking from this side, and we also know that we need our dragons to move inwards after destroying a few of these outside buildings. So what we're going to do, if there were builders' huts or corner buildings, we would go ahead and place our dragon so that after it destroys the builder hut, it moves inwards to another building and then inwards towards our line of dragons. So in this case, if we were to put our dragon here, it would attack the builder's hut, destroy it, then it would move up to the lab, and then we would go to the camp, and from there, who knows, one of these 3 directions. That's exactly what we don't want to do. We want to, get my eraser here, we want to have the dragon go from the builder's hut to a building that allows it to be destroyed and then go towards the inside. So you can see just by placing our dragon on this side of the builder's hut and destroying it, it then goes towards the closest building, which is the lab, and from there it goes to the closest building, which is the builder's hut, and from there we're golden. Same thing with here. Same thing here, I'm sorry. If we were to place a dragon here, it would then go to the gold mine, and you might get lucky, it might go this way or it might go this way, but as you can see, you can guarantee that you get it to move the right way by placing the dragon here, letting it go to the builder's hut and then towards the gold mine and then around this way. So dealing with builder's huts isn't a big deal as long as you recognize that they're there in the corners and are able to place the dragons in such a way that they move to where you're going to place your edge dragons anyway, and then from there they move inwards. So very quickly, let's just talk about this attack one more time, and then we'll go ahead and watch Hertz attack on it, and hopefully everything will make sense to you. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask anyone in our clan. They're, or at least any of the elders or leaders in our clan, they're all pretty good at dragon attacks, and they'd be able to help you out. So first thing we're going to do is, before we start an attack, is we're going to review what we're going to do multiple times. You kind of, if you play a musical instrument, you know you've got to practice, practice, practice over and over again until what you do during an attack pretty much is second nature. You don't even have to think about it anymore. So I would go over an attack at least 3 to 4 times in my mind, literally tapping the screen or coming close to tapping the screen and placing each dragon where it needs to go each time. So we'll just do it once. You can do it several more times in your mind if you want to. And then we'll watch Hertz attack, and that will be the end of the video. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to zoom in on this AD, and we're going to drop our Earthquake spell right here. And then we're going to drop 2 lightnings right there. And then we're going to zoom back out, and we don't actually have corner buildings to worry about. So what we're going to do is we're just going to place our dragons so that they move inward. So we're going to start with the edges so that those buildings are destroyed, and then the middle dragons will actually move inwards towards the AD. So let's go ahead and place a dragon right here, and it's going to go here and then here, and then we'll place a dragon right here, try to get this builder's hut, and from there it should go towards this mine and then inwards. And this one would obviously go this way and then inwards. And then as soon as we've destroyed a few buildings, we can go ahead and place the rest of our dragons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, you don't really want to hold dragons back because you're trying to maximize the damage per second that you're doing, and you want to minimize the damage per second that the defenses are doing against you. So the best way to do that is pretty much plan your attack well and then just lay them all out, and that will help them get to the remaining ADs as quickly as possible. So at that point, all we're doing is we're waiting for the CC to trigger. As soon as it triggers, we can drop our poison spell on wherever the CC troops are, and then we're getting ready with our heal spell, and we're looking for a good opportunity to get the most of our dragons in the spell that we can. And at that point, you're just you're watching and seeing how the attack goes. If you have your Barb King, you can get ready to use him, or if you used him to cut the edges, that's fine too. You're pretty much you're a spectator at that point and just waiting to see how the attack went. So let's go ahead and watch Hertz attack, and that will be the end of the video.